Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Today is a new day, new day, new day. And I can see a new way, new way, new way. It's gonna be good, gonna be good, gonna be good. 'Cause everything is new today. Today's made of soft clay, soft clay, soft clay. And I can shape it my way, my way, my way. It's gonna be good, gonna be good, gonna be good. 'Cause everything is new today. We don't have Edie going woohoo at the end there. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in the heart of Las Cruces, where our vision is a world and loving partnership for the good of all. I'm Reverend Bonnie, the community spiritual leader, and as usual, I'm always grateful to see you all and welcome you all here. I would like to ask you to make sure that your phones are on vibrate or silence. And if you're here for the first time, we have welcome packets on the back tables that you can pick one up. And just a quick reminder, once again, we have meditation at 10:15 to 10:35 in this space. It's a lovely way to start your Sunday morning. And our spiritual circle discussions have been quite lively on Thursdays from 1:30 to 2:30. You can do Zoom or you can join me here. I'm Zooming from here. And our website is up and running in its glory, which again, I want to thank Bob for all the work he did with our people to get the website in the shape that it's in today. Thank you again, Bob. Check it out. We have a new calendar in the back for October that you can pick up. And we are seeking people who would like to join us on October 2nd for the Pride table that we're having. Nancy's waving her hand. There's a sign-up sheet on the table back there. If you would like to join us, we have setup, we have the actual event, and then we have takedown and cleanup. So, like I said, sign up back there at the table. And today I am also your practitioner in service. As a minister, I am also a practitioner. So we believe in the power of prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. So you have prayer request forms in the back of the chairs that you're sitting in. And there's what they like to call the God can, because God can in the back. It's the wooden box. You can put your prayer request in there, or you can drop it in the offering plate as you leave. And your prayer requests will be prayed with on Tuesday afternoons as the 4 New Thought churches or centers in this area get together to work on the prayer requests from all of our communities. The prayer requests are kept confidential, and you can also use our prayer request button, which is on our website, if you would like to throughout the week. If you would like a treatment after the service, we've got some folks with stoles on. I see 3 of them out there, the turquoise stoles. You can ask them for a quick spiritual mind treatment after the service and let them work with you to just leave behind anything that might be concerning you today. And now it is time for song, silence, and prayer. Peace. In this moment
this moment is what I am. One in this moment, I am one. One is this moment. One, one, one. This moment is what I am. In this moment, I am still. Is this moment. Still. This moment is what I am.
So knowing in this stillness the truth of our being, love, light, joy, wholeness, expressing in and through us, spirit alive and well. I give thanks for this coming together, and I know that our service is blessed, our time together is blessed. The music is expressive and uplifts, and the words of our speaker today, Karen Starz, inspire. And for all of this, I'm grateful as I bless our time together and as we say together, and so it is. The reading this morning is from our textbook, Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind text. Insofar as we are going to make this thing work, it is because we contact universal laws which run through every age and race and which answer every person. If we can see this, we shall be able to do away with a great deal of superstition and ignorance. Let each individual immediately and directly in his own integrity approach the law that is. There is no medium between us and the universal mind except our own thought. In such degree as we place a medium, we have to absorb that medium before we can take a direct approach. The Bible says there is no mediator between God and man except Christ. The Christ means the truth about ourselves. So if we have to make a choice and feel we do not know which or what to choose, we must be still in our own consciousness and know the Spirit within us knows which of these ways is right and most constructive way and will guide us. And so it is.
Hurry up and wait, so close, so far away. Everything that you've always dreamed of, close enough for you to taste, but you just can't touch. You want to show the world, but no one knows your name yet. Wondering when, where, and how you're gonna make it. You know you can if you get the chance. In your face and the door keeps slamming. Now you're feeling more frustrated and you're getting all kind of impatient, waiting. We live and we learn to take one step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, and we find the reasons why, one step at a time. You believe and and you doubt. You're confused, got it all figured out. Everything that you always wished for could be yours, should be yours, would be yours. If they only knew you want to show the world, but no one knows your name yet. Wondering when, where, and how you're gonna make it. You know you can if you get the chance. In your face and the door keeps slamming. Now you're feeling more and more frustrated, and you're getting all kind of impatient, waiting. We live and we learn to take one step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, and we find the reasons why. One step at a time. When you can't wait any longer,
Can't wait.
and there's no wind inside,
You need to find the strength.
it's your faith that keeps you stronger. One step at a time. Step at a time, there's no need to rush.
It's like learning to fly.
Or falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, and we find the reasons why. One step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, and we find the reasons why. One step at a time.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Lynn and Randy. Okay, so this morning I'm excited because we have a real live and true guest speaker, someone new to all of us. And if you would like to learn more about her, she has a website you can go to, and also there's more on our newsletter. I'm just condensing all of the amazing things about this woman. Karen Starz is a certified trainer, a consultant, coach, speaker, and facilitator. She does NVC, which is nonviolent communication. Her background spans many areas from interpersonal relationships to businesses and nonprofit organizations. Other services she provides include mediation, conflict resolution, and curriculum writing. Her approach to nonviolent communication is based on embodying the whole of nonviolent consciousness to create an automatic, empathic, somatic response and awareness. Her studies of the great books from both Eastern and Western thought have supported the belief system that we are all interdependent, which is the same belief system that nonviolent practitioners assume. The connection with Marshall Rosenberg's work and nonviolent communication came naturally and peaked further ongoing exploration into the foundation of nonviolent communication. Karen aims to bring social change through learning and is particularly interested in the spiritual connection that nonviolent communication fosters. Please help me welcome Karen Starz.
Wow, thank you. I'm going to take just a... Oh, and I thought I wore my high heels today. Is that better? Yeah, I can see it. First, I want to see you all and say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Reverend Bonnie, and thank you also to Unity, which helped to make that connection. Everything just seemed to match, and we didn't even share a story. The music was wonderful, incredibly touching. Like, still feel the emotion welling up in me, a lot of tenderness. And what you read is what I could have read today for the talk that I have. So, so matching and really wonderful. I'm also a pacer, so knowing that I have to stay in one spot is a little bit challenging, but maybe I'll pace with my hands. and keep the focus. So I was listening to my bio there, and I thought, wow, I had an evaluation of it. I thought that sounds a little businessy, and really what I love about compassionate communication or nonviolent communication is that it is a spiritual process. It brings us back to that point, which that spot of grace, that shared humanity, that divine beloved energy, whatever you want to call it. And in my own experience, I have a really diverse background of spiritual seeking, which I'm telling myself that's probably matched here in this room with all of you or a lot of you. I was raised Catholic from a mom who's a Native American but grew up in a foster home, and so she was very strict Catholic. Learned to love that ritual of Catholicism and still love that ritual, but then went into exploring the Native American ceremonies on my own, became a solitary Wiccan practitioner, really fell in love with that, fell in love with Jesus and his teachings as well, and then became a Unity member in early 2000. Studied Emerson in my undergrad, and then my graduate work was in the Eastern Classics and Buddhism, Taoism, and then some other stuff. So might be matching, hopefully resonating with some of your experiences out there, and therefore in writing a talk, I just listen to the message. What's coming through? And so I went to one of my favorite places for prayer, which is the bathtub. And I started soaking, and I just kept hearing Emily, Katie, Emily, Katie, Emily, Katie. So I dried off and trotted into my room where I have a bookcase, and I picked up the little brown book called How I Use Truth from Emily Katie. And what I appreciate about her, and I don't know if you know or are familiar with Emily Katie, I know that she's a staple in Unity message, but I'm not sure with CSL, is that she's very clear and really meets my need for order in her writing. She's really clear in her experiences. And in her first part of this book, she talks about why publish my material in the way that it's written. And for her, it's really important that the process that she uses to communicate with God, which she calls God, is shown, so that we can watch that human inclination, that human searching and seeking for divine order in its actual process. So I want to read something from her, and it's in a letter or article that she calls Oneness with God. She says, in order that we may hear the inner voice and may receive the highest form of teaching, which alone can open the eyes of our spiritual understanding, the mortal self must cease its clamoring even for truth. The human intellect must become absolutely still, forgetting to argue or discuss. The Father can lead into all truth only when we listen to hear what he will say, not what others will say. We must learn to listen not anxiously and with strained ears, but expectantly, patiently, trustingly. Kind of matches what you were saying, or what Ernest Holmes was saying, in how we listen. And that's the message that I took from Emily's writing, was how are we listening? Can we listen transformatively? Can we get past the clamoring and the din of our own mind thoughts and that humanness which we love to be in, and yet doesn't often bring us connection to the message that will help us with divine order, with order in our world. And for me, this is why we were given universal needs, why humans were given needs. And for me, what needs are are not necessarily how the word is used in spiritual communities that I walk into. Some spiritual communities, needs get a bad rap. So it's like, don't say you're needy. It's almost saying that I'm not enough in some way or some manner. Don't put that out to the universe. But for me, in the work that I've done, and for what I hope is a deeper, that's an evaluation, but a deeper level of understanding than just taking the word at surface, is that needs are actually words that we wrap around qualities of being. So we all share them. We all need food. We all need shelter. We all need water. Those are some basic. And then in community, we need reciprocity, belonging, to matter, love. Emotionally, we need care and compassion. Our intellect needs learning, needs adventure, needs stimulation. These are things that every human being shares, regardless of our skin color, our social economic background, regardless of our belief systems. This is a language that we share. And I believe it comes from that shared, divine, beloved energy. So, one of the things that doesn't look right in the world is that sometimes we look out and we go, okay, so you need to be heard. Why are you shouting at me? Or you need connection. Why are you isolating yourself in your room? You need community, and yet you're throwing yourself into an addiction of like gaming or alcohol or sex or whatever. It doesn't make sense to our intellect. But if we look beyond, if we hear deeper, if we quiet our mind, we might hear what each other is shouting at the level of needs, feelings and needs. So one of the places that I look, well, first I want to say a little bit about control. Control and order are different in my world. Order is a need, and control is a strategy that we sometimes use to meet that need or to meet other needs. And strategies aren't bad. They are something that we have to do. They're the way we tend to this divine energy coming up in us. And I recently moved to Truth or Consequences, the town just a little bit north of you. What a perfect name for the work that I do. I'm kind of really excited about it. I don't put TRC, I write it out, Truth or Consequences. And that's a reminder for me, not for others necessarily. But one thing that I realized, I drive down there, I'm up in Albuquerque. I was living in Albuquerque for 3 years after 4 years in Houston, where actually Hurricane Harvey invited me to find a different place. So I went to Albuquerque, and I was looking for a home. I wanted to buy a home. I was tired of renting, and I wanted to have my own space and to order it how I enjoyed. And the circle of search kind of widened a bit, and I ended up looking in Truth or Consequences. And when I came down, it just so happened, Spirit has a really funny way of pulling you in, because the river was running. There were people paddling. There were people on inner tubes. There were fishermen walking up and down. The nightlife was hopping. It happened to be the one Saturday where they have the art walk. I didn't know it at that time. And so, I thought, oh, yes, this is my place. And then when I finally closed a couple months later, I drove by the river, and there were these swampy things coming out, and not a lot of water and a lot of mud and some mosquitoes. And I thought, what happened? So this is where order and control come in, because there's a dam, as you all probably well know, that is controlled, and they allow water out a couple of months of the year, I hear. And that meets some needs. That meets needs for sustainability. That meets needs for fun and play and recreation, and ultimately for the water source to be sustainable. And that's a use of control. that meets a need for order. But sometimes that strategy doesn't work. So when we're trying to control, like, say, an affliction, like an addiction, doesn't really work to go in and control it. It sometimes creates chaos. That's why I look to the wonderful process of the 12-step program, which is available for almost any affliction out there now. There's the food, there's alcohol, there's drugs, there's sex, there's any kind of overuse of our focus. We can have the support of the 12 steps. And in that, the first step that I've read in the literature is that you admit that you're powerless over blank and that your life has become unmanageable. Now, powerlessness you can test out with whatever your affliction is. You can go and see if there's who has the power in that relationship. And the manageability, with the support of other people in the fellowship, you can see if your life is unmanageable. And then there's also the big tragic ones, like maybe poor health, broken relationships, etc. But what I find really interesting further in the literature and the process of the 12 steps is that it doesn't ever say, and now your life is manageable. What it says is that you've come to believe in a higher power. You've agreed to give over your will and your life to this higher power. You're listening to divine order in some way by silencing all those other thoughts that you've told yourself, all those other strategies that you've chosen to help meet your needs. So for me, it's divinely inspired and spirit manifested in these programs. And not only that program, I'd say nonviolent communication, in neurological linguistic programming, in prayer and meditation. You know, we did this lovely meditation earlier today, and I was just like, oh, thank you, God, for bringing me down here at this time and having this availability to just silence myself, because I'm going to talk about silencing yourself. And I don't think that I had ordered my day to where I would have that later. So it's really, really wonderful how Spirit speaks. So I believe that we're always looking for that call to divine order. I believe that we want to become silent. We want to get there. And it's challenging because we have the din, we have the clamoring, we have the social media. And, you know, I was going to bring in today some Buddhism or Taoism, and it wasn't calling to me. And Emily Cady spoke to me again, and I hope it's okay if I read another piece from her. She writes in her essay, Loose Him and Let Him Go, all is good because all is God. In other words, God is the only intelligence, the only life at the center of every form of existing life. We say that we believe the highest manifestation of God is in man, that God ever abides at the center of man, of all mankind, and is always in process of manifesting more and more. Himself, pure intelligence, perfect love, through man's consciousness, until man comes to be consciously one with the Father in all things. Do you really believe this fundamental statement? If you do believe it, where is there any cause for the anxiety that you feel about your loved ones who are not, as you say, in the truth? If we truly believed all is good, we should not be troubled about those who apparently are going all wrong. They may be going wrong according to our limited conception of right and wrong. But my brother, my sister, you are not your brother's keeper. He that will redeem, he that is already redeemed, lives within. And I'll skip down. God works, or as the original has it, God is working effectually to perform in your brother to bring him to himself just as much as he is working in you and me. We have absolutely nothing to fear about the eventual success of this worker. God never fails. And you have to forgive, this I'm reading from pretty old text, so it's all God and him and he. And I'm hoping that in our conception, we can translate that into whatever way resonates for us so that we can have peace and not let the intellect stop us at the door. What's important here to me is that if that's the case, if God is working in all of us in whatever way, in whatever mysterious way to create divine order, then I can't look out in the world and say, your choice is wrong. You're making wrong choices. Instead, I have faith, and there may be times that I need to step up and listen a little deeper beyond your words to understand what need you're trying to meet. Maybe it's a need for choice. Maybe it's a need for health. Maybe it's a need for support. Maybe it's a need for love. I don't know until I get really silent. So one thing that I would love to do, and I don't know if it's possible, but I'd love to flood social media with silence. I'd love to flood our life with silence. I'd like us to hear the song of the divine again and have faith in divine order as a collective. And I'd like us to do that every day. I'd like for us to wake up and say, your will, not mine, every day until we change the landscape of our human world to match that of the landscape of truth. So my question is, for you, what step will you take today to help the collective, whether coming into meditation, showing up here is already one step. What will you take into the world? Thank you for letting me share. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Karen. Beautiful, good question. What are we going to take? And I just want you to know that originally we had hoped that we would have her here for an entire weekend doing workshops with us. And with COVID and all that, we didn't get to do that this time. But we wanted you to have a taste. You got 20 minutes of this amazing person and what she can offer us. We're hoping in the spring to bring those workshops and to bring her back and to have her share more of the gift that she has. I know for me, looking at what I need was such a new concept, and I got it through nonviolent communication. I had learned how to figure out what I feel, but I didn't know the need behind it, so that's a huge gift, and I know that just speaking to it today brought a new light for me as well, so thank you, Karen. Let's just take all of that within right now. Again, into that space of silence, just breathe for a moment and see what resonates, what's settling. And I trust that right here and right now, Spirit is moving within each and every one of us, inspiring our hearts and minds, bringing forward the needs that we seek to have met, and inspiring us in ways that are healthy to meet those needs. I give thanks for the concepts that have been presented to us today, and I trust that it's a seed to a greater awareness, a seed to more to come from this amazing woman named Karen Starz. I am so grateful for this opportunity today, and I know that each and every one of us has been blessed. And so we take that question into the world. What are we doing? What are we bringing into the world to see what is outpicturing match the inner landscape of that higher truth? I know Spirit is ready to move in and through each and every one of us, so I just release these words, knowing that it is already so, as together we say, and so it is.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. It's grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieve. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. It's grace that brought me safe this far, and grace will lead me home. And God has promised good to me. Your word, my hope secures. You are my shield and portion me, as long as life endures. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves a soul like me. I once was lost, oh, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. I was blind, but now I see.
I can't even talk. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. It just brought tears to my eyes to hear that song and to think about what you spoke about, and you didn't even ask him for it, did you? It was perfect. Again, just so perfect. all is in divine order, and that it's that grace that moves in and through our lives. I'm sorry, that just, whew. So now is the time that we normally do our giving and giving back to where we get our spiritual food, and I certainly hope that you all have been fed this morning. I know I have been. We are not passing the plate. We're not handing things hand to hand, so there are plates at either door if you would drop your offering in the plate on your way out. We are a tithing community, and this month we are giving to Southern New Mexico Pride, who seeks to provide the LGBT community with events and activities that are designed to unify our community. They strive to promote tolerance between the LGBT community and the community at large, and to be a resource for those seeking greater information and fellowship in our community. And like I mentioned during the announcements, we will have 2 tables, a booth to sell things from the bookstore and a booth for handing out information about our community at the Pride event on Saturday, October 2nd. So again, if you're interested, please sign up to join us and at least come to the event and stop by and say hello if you don't want to work the table with us. At this time, let's recognize how it is that Spirit moves in and through us and how blessed we are. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, in me. And so it is. And we will sing.
We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
Thank you again, Karen, for joining us and sharing your wisdom. I look forward to more. I really look forward, and thank you to Mary Lynn and Randy for the music this morning, for all of you for being here. Let's uplift those that aren't here and just know that they are exactly where they need to be this morning as well. And we see everyone healthy and whole as we go out, taking our light and answering that question, what it is we are doing to make what we want and know is true on the inside show up out there in that greater world. Let's stand and sing our closing song, just sending that energy around the room. Thank you again for being here.
I leave here in peace. I step out in love. I know everything I need is part of me, and I will not speak until I first think, is it kind and true and needed? One life, God's life, my life now. One life, God's life, my life now.
I leave here in peace. I step out in love. I know everything I need is part of me, and I will not speak until I first think, is it kind and true and needed? One